I was talking to one of my homeboys just about double standards, right? That's some hell of a things that happen, like even with women, at least in my experience and my involvement, they tend to treat dudes differently depending on their status. Oftentimes I see women that tend to have a little more aggression toward the guy that works a 9 to 5 and he barely making it, but you get half of what he got. You get half of what he got. He barely making it, but they be kind of critical of them guys. And I've been on the other side of that, where if I keep it all the way real with you, they don't even question dudes that got paper. I ain't gonna say 100% of them, but there's a high percentage of them. They don't got no questions to no nigga that got that bag. A girl can come over your house if you the guy that work a 9 to 5. She can come over your house, and if she see something that resemble a woman, she might stop mid-sex and leave on him. She might treat him terrible, like I just stopped. Man, look, I know that ain't a bracelet over there. Is that? And she might leave. It's some lashes. It's something over there that indicates a woman being in here. She'll dip on him right then. You put a lot of them same females in another situation with a guy with paper, man, somebody can be at the door, they gonna keep sucking. Somebody can come in the house, they gonna keep. Somebody can come in the room, they gonna keep. They don't got no questions. The phone can ring, they ain't having no questions. They don't want to cause and ruffle no feathers. So it's a double standard. That's why I tell dudes, get you some money. The women go with that. Now, peace don't go with that, but the women go with that. You're going to get access to some pussy if you get you some money, or whatever you into. You're going to get access to that if you get you some paper. So I'm always championing people to get them some paper. All that in lovey-dovey sound good, and it even look good on the gram. But I wonder what it's costing you. Right? Sometimes you look at what it costs you by what you spending. I'm looking at what it costs you by what you ain't obtained. Right? It's things out there you ain't been able to wrap your arms around because you too occupied with this love thing that calls for a certain amount of your bandwidth. I don't care who you is, or you just faking the fun. But if you, man, they got holidays surrounding this love thing. They got so much surrounding this love thing, you either got to delegate somebody to make sure whatever happened, shawty's took care of on all these days. Make sure we put something together. But if you mid-tier, you can not only jack off your bag, you can jack off your bandwidth fucking with that love shit if it ain't always right. I used to hear people young, hey, watch who you have children by, watch who you fall in love. Like, you know, watch these things because it does change it changes your path. That's why all y'all girl dads out there, man, it's a hell of a thing y'all have to go through, because she can run into the wrong guy and change her path, right? This ain't had nothing to do with your teaching of her. This ain't had nothing to do with how you've been able to handle her and showed her love and showed her mother love and not really got out of bounds, you know, and created those boundaries. But it's like she can run into the wrong guy and change her path. So all that you showed her, she can start to veer off course. So I applaud girl dads. Me, it's my job to teach my sons and hope they listening when I'm speaking to them, which I know they is. You know, I just sit around and I be silly, but it's game involved when I speak to them, so I know they paying attention. Let's talk about this, man. After 27 years, there's been an arrest made in the murder of Tupac Shakur. A guy that goes by the name of Keefe D has been arrested for that murder. Tupac was murdered in 1996, I believe September, out in Las Vegas. Keefe D found himself on Vlad TV, on other platforms, doing interviews and writing books about his encounter with Tupac on the night that he died. And a lot of people said clout chasing. I knew it wasn't clout chasing. I know niggas go broke. See, we got to keep it real. Being known ain't worth a damn around this motherfucker, man. Right? All that cool shit go out the window when bills need to be paid. All that cool, yeah, it's the nigga that with the money that can hold on to any kind of cool that he get a. It's like, yo, bro, you was able to hold on to that cool because some of y'all niggas get money and the cool go disappear and corners show up. That's a whole nother circumstance. 27 years after this murder, they found themselves arresting Keefe D. There's a lot that goes into this. This dude's 60 years old. The evidence is 27 years old. How many witnesses do they have? What do they really have, right? And so there's so much that we have to consider when we even talk about him being arrested. You know, what does that look like on the other end? Now, I'm not going to report on everything surrounding it because there's too many people doing that. So I'm sure that you probably already saw a couple of the things surrounding this whole ordeal. What I do want to focus on, though, is his involvement with doing interviews on a cold case. This told me so much about Keefe D from the outside. It told me he had no other avenues to get no money. It told me that even though he was whatever he was, you know, high-ranking official, shot call in his neighborhood, no matter what he was, that he couldn't figure out another way to get some money on. That it wasn't no way for him to get no paper. He had to go do interviews. Now, never did I think, right? Because as I get old, I look at the world and I understand that everything is used as a tool. It's just who is using the tool. Everything in life is used as a tool. It's just who's using it. But I never thought that hip-hop media or hip-hop quote-unquote journalists would be doing the work for the DA by proxy. And so this blurs the lines, right? Because today we're going to talk about DJ Vlad's involvement in this. DJ Vlad came out and said he didn't cooperate with the police. They reached out to him. We're going to play a clip. We're going to kind of get into his commentary. Pay attention.
Keefe D's house gets raided.
Yeah.
In Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
There is apparently a grand jury that are interviewing people as we speak.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you heard about him, about them raiding his house?
I mean, I think everyone was surprised. You know, like, the case is 27 years old. The proffer agreement happened years ago. There's been multiple documentaries about it.
Have they reached out to you about any of your footage?
I will give you the exclusive on this. They actually have tried. I've gotten a bunch of phone calls and emails and stuff like that, but I'm not cooperating with this.
Okay. Do you think it's... I mean, I'm assuming they can access the interview on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming what they want is the uncut version. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Just to see if there was anything talked about.
Correct. Yeah, but my thing, and I've always held this stance when it comes to people, the interview on my platform, I'm not going to have you come to my platform and do an interview only to then work against you.
Yeah.
As you heard out of DJ Vlad's mouth, they reached out to him directly. Now, I have a couple questions about that. I do appreciate the fact that he lets it be known that I will not work with them and I did not work with them, but then I still draw suspicion and I'm left wondering, number one, when was this interview recorded? And two, did you alert Keefe D that they reached out? Or after the raid, did you say something? Hey, by the way, they reached out to me. It's like, man, this shit get crazy because Vlad did a lot of work surrounding the Tupac case, right? And somewhat you can say it's trying to serve the Tupac fan base. It's trying to give them something to look at. It's trying to solve an unsolved case in hip-hop media and do a high level of journalism. But on the other side, I say, man, because Vlad is paying for interviews, there's an awkward situation involved with some of these gentlemen. So what you deal with is a lot of the big homies are financially compromised. They find themselves, now I might keep it real till they talk about some money on. They got some paper for that store, I might come. And here's another trick that I'm finding. Sometimes, and I don't know if Vlad did this on this one, but a lot of times they do these interviews where it's you and a camera and somebody else and they ain't even in there. And they can get off some of these questions that if you get mad, the most you're going to do is get up and leave out the room. They not there, or you can't feel their energy to feel is they standing on this, or is this information based, or is this a hate I'm dealing with? You see what I'm saying? So they done created like, so if you ever been in the hood store, you know that glass where they They got that glass, that bulletproof glass where they serve you through here, but you really can't touch them. You can see them and everything, but it's almost like they doing business behind the bulletproof glass. So I'm saying a lot of these interviews are set up and they asking some of these crazy questions. You see what I'm saying? They birthing young niggas that don't know, bro. They ain't even asking them questions in a lot of these guys' face. These questions are being asked via computer. And that's another element in content world that, you know, it's effective. I can appreciate what it is, but I just think somebody got to say something like, yo, a lot of these interviews that you see what some of this like case solving be happening. I think No Jumper probably got the most of them that's face to face. I think Vlad catalog, he may have less in-person interviews than Adam about certain stuff like that. But I do believe Adam to be smart enough to have gangbangers, and he understand that opportunity is surrounding him, right? So I believe if you had to give Adam 22 a lie detector test and ask him, do he think if something happened to him in there, those guys will do something? I think he truly believes they'll do something. And that may be the case, and it may not be the case. That may not be the case where I think Adam don't got the information that he ain't never been on the other side where that may not be the case. And it's damn, they said it, they thought we thought it. I done saw them do other shit, but when we got down in this hole right here, didn't nobody do what they said they were gonna do. And sometimes you learn a hard lesson when you pushing a hard line. I just wonder for Vlad and the Keefe D situation, because basically Keefe D been on the Art of Dialogue, he been on Vlad, he been on a lot of different platforms. I got Reggie White had came on mine. I didn't drop it. There was a lot being talked about in there. I just hadn't dropped it. I might put it out. Let me speak about a few things, man. I got a couple places to go right now with it. This is what's good about podcasting. Just as it comes, it gets delivered. You know, as it comes, it gets delivered. It's like it's just how this goes. But pay attention closely how they handle me in the market. And remember this. They respect what they can't disrespect, not the other way around. When you've placed them in a position of where they can't say, what can you say? What can you do? You got to retreat. Then you got to trick yourself that you and the guy that's on the roll. Not to diminish, but to compare. Let's take a look. Say what you will about my podcast. Wherever it's landed at, it's never lost a deal. I've never been in a position where we got to go and ask, man, can we re-up? And they say, we're not interested. You take and do with that information whatever you will. The market decides the value of the product, not the noise. They want to trick you into being caught up in the noise. This is what I need the youngsters that's following me, because I know the entire industry is watching. And let me speak to this. The entire industry is watching and they scared. They sitting on the sideline. I don't know what to, I'm going to sit over here. I mean, listen, understand one thing. You dealing with a scientist. The craftsmanship that I have developed along my journey, some of the attributes that I possess, I will not go in a trick bag. But I'm very interested in some of these things. I'm still studying and I'm still watching it. It still baffles me how this industry allows for some of these people to disrespect black women in the way they do, have some of the stances that they have, and they continue to let it rock. And if you don't fuel the fire, let it stand over there alone, then you see what it's really worth. It's the relationship that gives it recourse. It's the relationship that rekindles the fires. It's so much value in the relationship because through the relationship, you get access to an audience. And I'm learning on my way up that a lot of these people will do anything for access to audience. Man, you could talk about my granny long as you'll do that interview and post it on your page, family. We talking about niggas is claiming to play millionaire. A lot of these niggas playing millionaire out here. Yo, just post me. I ain't gonna say nothing about you. Yeah, just don't post me on your. Just post me on your page when the album come, man. Just talk about it on the man. Y'all trading that for that. Yo, bro, this getting very weird. It's getting, and so where I come from, it's hard to play Superman without a cape on. Man, you can say the whole hood, man. You can on Christmas, you can come through and give everybody in the ghetto presents. If you ain't got the suit on, they don't believe it. That some kind of way the imagery has been installed in their brains that's what Santa Claus look like. And so it's deprogramming that got to be done. But sometimes you in front of Superman and don't know it. You looking for a cape. And I'll be cool with it, but everybody playing real and gangster. And so if you pay attention to the industry, though, I do want to give credence to what's going on. There's subtly alliances, right? Where people don't go on this platform and be right in their city. Or people don't invite these people out and they right in their backyard. It's like they're subtly letting you know that we may got a relationship, but it ain't an on-camera relationship. I won't give you access to my audience. I won't validate your platform in a way that truly helps you, right? And how many people behind the scenes got stories about things in that field, right? Where it's just been certain connections and certain things that could have and would have and should have, but never, right? This industry is full of those, and that's why you see me applaud certain people that really get it done. How can we call ourselves men with no principle? On the other side, it's like every fight ain't worth fighting. I get it. But when you see somebody poisoning the water that your children are drinking from, a lot of these dudes, your kids are watching these individuals. Your kids are ingratiated with these individuals, and not saying that they need to be deplatformed, because at the end of the day, I don't want to see no black dude not make nothing when he doing it. That ain't even my vibration, right? But, yo, we want to put game next to certain things. We want to elevate certain frequencies next to other frequencies. That's just how this need to work, because we use some of that as the vehicle to get the eyeballs, and then we smother with information, you know? And so I'm figuring out a formula on how to mix those things and how those things can interact and act in concert on behalf of the culture. And then again, in this game, and I have to tell myself this and don't get caught up, because I'm in a weird place, right? I'm getting a lot of there's a lot of mixed signals in business at this kind of level. You know, you have to deal with navigation of unknown, and a lot of it is, it's like they understand it's a very weird place a lot of the relationships live in this industry. And so every day I have to explain to myself that watch what they do, not what they say they do. The entire game. This ain't got nothing to do with color. Watch what they do, not what they say they do. So the first thing is to watch what they do, not what they say they do. And the second piece, and this is very important, don't talk about everything that you peep. There's things that I've peeped along the way that I can't talk about. Because when you talk about certain things, the mind is see, at this level, a lot of these guys are thinking men. When you hear about, and I'm going to refrain from using these guys' name just because it's starting to feel, because I know it's personal, it's starting to feel funny. You know, I'm a serious human being, and it's starting to feel funny just dealing with some of these individuals, and they've personally got involved and emotionally involved in this, right? Anyway, certain people will make phone calls behind the scenes about loan and how to stomp them out. And so they'll make phone calls behind the scenes and say, yo, don't engage with him, man. He's a different kind of beast. He over there, he know jujitsu. It's a different kind of level of thinking, talking, popping it, dressing, everything. The boy is a different kind of thing over there. He in his own little thing. He doing his own, he in his own world. Stay away from him. He drag you over there, he gonna beat the dog shit out of you. I hear them, I hear it. I see it on their face when my name come up. And so they attack me with narratives. All of them being incorrect, but they attack with narratives. Ask people opinion. Give them time. Say, hey, what do you think? And let them ask. Don't attach something to my name and move on, man. These are old school tricks, but people have to understand what happens. You'll see these people engage with the entire game, right? Some of these podcasts talk 10 hours a week. 15, 20 hours a week, maybe. I don't even know. I'm just taking shots at it. But say they talk 20 hours a week. Some of these platforms, 20 hours a week worth of content. They talk about any and everybody. But they know when they get the loan, you better disengage. You can't beat him. The boy dealing with information. Everything he done called has been right. because you can't think this is about position when I'm clearly in position. This is the disingenuous conversation that we continue to have with one another, is that you will put me in a position to defend the fact that I'm in position. Is that what we really doing? You think these folks don't got eyes and ears? You gonna tell that to the audience? You see Joe make sure that he don't discredit me. You see what Joe say? Work harder. He just trying to, that's a very vague thing for a man that call people cowards and weirdos and all these different things. They handle me with care because they know what I'm working with. None of them can spar with this kind of, man. This is a one-on-one match, man. This is, and guess what? They know they've been getting off doing third-person shooter. I'm dealing with first-person shooter, meaning I'm coming with experience. That little shit they been working with, that shit ain't hitting on nothing. This here like fentanyl. This shit is highly addictive and highly potent. And they know if they come do some of that right now, and me and my homeboy was talking about this, and this is unfortunate. If you doing dope now, you just doing it in the wrong era. Because it's a high chance you're going to die at some point. If you know, it's so much to go into it, right? And so for me, I was talking to my homeboy. I'm saying, if you somebody that's buying little bitty pieces of dope and ice and shit and heroin and shit, meaning that you might buy some from the east side, you might go to the west side, you might be outside. Them kind of folks right there dying at an alarming rate. Here's the fucked up thing about the fentanyl. It done started to sneak out of that category of people and get the regular individual that may ain't got but one or two dealers. I got homeboys that done passed away. I'm like, yo, I know he getting money. He getting off around the town. He a dude that been in this game all his life. And so now they even getting it. And so what that's telling me is poison in the water. And so if you doing dope or you doing something in this era, man, you really picked the wrong era. And you really playing Russian roulette. It's like an 80% chance, in my opinion, it's going to get you. You're going to die fucking with it. I got people, they saying, they listen, it's all in jail. It's getting unintended victims at this point. It ain't even getting the people that's dying there at the bottom. It's getting middle-class America, high-class America. It's tapping into all that because it's poison in the water. I think most people look at it and they treat it like people treated AIDS back in the day. Like, you know it's out there, but it ain't going to get me. Like, I know they be talking about, I know it's out there, but it ain't gonna get me. It's almost like the behavior. This is what they mean when they say human behavior can be tracked and dictated and interpreted at a high level to where you can predict it. When we was dealing with the AIDS epidemic, the response to that, people was fully aware that a disease was killing people via sex. And they still was going out and playing Russian roulette. It's the same way now with the fentanyl and the drug. These folk know that it's killing people. And they're addicted on it now. So they want the street guys to turn around and be chemists. These dudes ain't even graduate high school. They want them to take fentanyl, mix it with whatever drug of choice they got and be a chemist just on the fly. It ain't gonna happen. These niggas not Walter White. In the 90s, if you was doing coke, ice, heroin, or something like that, you'll just dwindle on down. You know, your looks are kind of, your looks will be fleeting. You'll start to look, you know, kind of like you're out of it. You dig what I'm saying? Your body, you'll get skinny, your teeth, you know, you'll just start to kind of, but you ain't finna die. You could have been doing hard back in the day, man, in some of the most horrible places. You could have bought your heart and something. You wasn't finna die, though. You finna make it to 80 smoking like it right there, as long as you ain't got no other problem. And you gonna make it. People was dying drunk, like just stumbling into the street and shit like that before them crackheads and people that was on ice and meth and shit back in the day. Them folks wasn't dying like that now, man. If you doing that shit, it's a high probability. And it's still plenty money in that shit. That's what be fucked up. That's why I'm saying you gotta talk to these niggas with a different kind of understanding now, because it's some money in that shit. It's money out there. You asking me to be broke or to go gamble over here where I don't even know what's happening. But I think we need to explain to the youngsters now, brother, you gambling over there where you at. You just don't know it. So either way, we gambling. So I would tell you, take some money from that dice game and come over here and gamble a little bit to where we start an entrepreneur shit and doing shit with the money, right? Because what'll happen is they'll be over there and say, man, I ain't doing no gambling with my money. Man, them niggas talking about bring 100,000 to get that big bid and shit. Man, I ain't doing no gambling with this money. Nigga, you gambling in the street. That's what you doing with the money. But there's a level of normalcy that goes with you doing it all your life. So you think you safe over here when you ain't even safe over here, brother. You got to slide home. You feel what I'm saying? When I hear these dudes try to stomp me out, though, I don't get upset. I don't cry about it. I'm a leader. I know I come in the game as a force. I know I come bearing the truth. I know they got to bear witness. So they watching. They just hope you ain't watching. You see how that work? These niggas watching, but they hope you ain't watching. Because if you watching, they think it mean you won't watch them. They don't even know how it work. That is room for all this shit in their playlist, in their ecosystem. They can work all this shit into their daily routine. But these guys are so afraid of real access to audience, they won't post nobody on their page. They won't even post their own homies on their page. They won't even get involved with their own homies' business in a way that's really effective for the homies. You won't even pay a manager. You won't even pay people to distribute the business and infrastructure and shit. Like, you won't even hire them because this is the level of selfishness you dealing with. It ain't that the business ain't making money. Dudes will go get a $5 million, $2 million deal and nobody won't even eat off of it. And they run home and they pat themselves on the back. When I understand the power in the ecosystem, I knew it was only a certain amount of time for some of these narratives corrode. Because when you look at the real foundation of all of these businesses, when you really break everything down, everybody running what they're running, but Loon has instructed his people to do this in a certain way. And the way I do it needs to be respected and will be respected. I won't have 1 billion views and no money. This is not even an option for me. Hear me and hear me well. I won't have 1 billion views and no money. I mean, they won't capitalize in a way that I won't capitalize. I have to get the information from it. This is the biggest thing. Y'all keep worrying about money. When certain people come in this game with property and shit, certain niggas come in, you dig, loaded, it's cool. Whatever happened is straight. Some people got that kind of vibration on them. I know it'd be hard for y'all to really dig me, but some people got that kind of vibration. And in some situations, you got to be the workhorse. Right? And I don't mind being a workhorse in certain situations. I know I'm looking for information and money. I need access to those things, access to audience, right? So I'll be the workhorse as long as you show me the way. See, you can't have me as your workhorse and then put blinders on me. That's how they done a lot of y'all niggas. Do not compare me to these niggas that is sitting there and they got blinders on and they workhorses. We ain't even the same kind of men. I understand that sometimes you got to be the workhorse, but we going to take the blinders off. I'm at least going to know the way. I can make my way back. I can make my way back up here. I know I can bring folk with me. I know what's going on. Least we going to do is let me know the way. I know access to information. Y'all got to give something to get some. I know how that work. I respect game. I know what's going on, but at least they going to take the blinders off me. As powerful as I am, I can be much more powerful because I try to be consistent in my messaging. You speak on what you observe, not heard. So you can hear something with the blind. I'm telling you what I saw on my way. I'm telling you what I dealt with going through it, not what I heard. It's a different texture. And if you don't get it, you will never get it. It ain't that time yet. And so when I look people in the eyes, that's why certain things I don't speak with as much velocity because I don't know. And I know knowing is participation. I have an idea, but I don't know. And when you hear me and I'm talking to you like this, that means I know something. A lot of times I find an issue with being invested in people. Sometimes I think it can just bring you down. I want to listen to some of this Jay-Z, and we'll have a conversation about some of this.